Hello, and thank you for joining us for today's hybrid education program at Cancer Support Community South Bay. I'm Rebecca, the program manager, and I welcome you to this workshop titled The Space Between Us, Loneliness, Solitude, and the Work of Belonging. Before we begin, or if this is your first time joining us, CSC South Bay's mission is to uplift and strengthen people impacted by cancer by providing support, fostering compassionate communities, and breaking down barriers to care. Our vision is that everyone impacted by cancer receives the support they want and need throughout their experience. We serve the South Bay, Long Beach, and Orange County area all at no cost. Our program includes support groups, networking groups, healthy lifestyle classes, social activities, and educational programs like this workshop. Educational programs are open to all. If you'd like to hear more about our services or join our community, please visit our website at cscsouthbay.org. Before I introduce today's speaker, we ask you to keep your microphone muted to eliminate any distracting background noise. Please feel free to enter any general questions into the chat function found at the bottom of the Zoom window at any time for those online, and for those in person, we will answer the questions after the presentation. Without further ado, I'd like to introduce our workshop speaker. Dr. Hart is the Director of Community Health at Always Best Care Senior Services, Director of Clinical Training in the Department of Clinical Mental Health Counseling at CSUF, and a licensed professional clinical counselor with over 20 years of experience working with older adults and people living with dementia and their families. Dr. Hart is also the founding chair of the South Bay Dementia Education Consortium, co-chair of the Orange County MFT Consortium, and has presented his published research at national and international conferences. Thank you so much for being here with us today, Dr. Hart.
Oh, thank you so much for the introduction. I hope everybody can see me. Um, I am so happy that you're here. I truly, truly am. And I want to just begin by offering my sincerest apologies for missing our last scheduled event. If you were here and I wasn't here, due to some car trouble. That's the first time that has ever happened in my 25 plus year career. So I was just, what was the feeling I was feeling? Just a lot of guilt, something like this, because it's so important for me to be on time and to be at my appointments. And so I just want to say thank you for your grace. Thank you for coming again. And I'm happy to have this conversation with you. So just a little bit about me. I am a licensed professional clinical counselor, and so I'm a psychotherapist, and I've been practicing for the last almost 25 years. And my areas of specialization, I work primarily with older adults, but mostly older adults who have been diagnosed with dementia and their families. And so that's my area of not just expertise, but also love. So I study a lot about the issues related to aging and growing older. And loneliness is one of those issues and one of those challenges. And so I'm assuming that all of us in some ways understand what it means to feel or experience loneliness, right? It's not an unusual or abnormal feeling to experience or to have. But what the epidemiological and survey data is telling us now is that it's not just a feeling that we have, many of us have from time to time, that it's actually becoming much more chronic. And the chronic nature of loneliness in the 21st century is becoming what we describe as a health epidemic with serious and very significant negative health outcomes. When I first encountered this information was in Rowe and Kahn's study of successful aging, which is probably one of the most cited studies on successful aging ever done. And when I read the statistic, I mean, I almost fell over in my own chair because the statistic is that chronic loneliness is akin to smoking. The negative health outcomes related to chronic loneliness is akin to the negative health outcomes related to smoking a pack of cigarettes a day. Okay. So when we're looking at longevity without disability, right? So the amount of years that we live um, in tandem with ability level, because we want to live longer, but we want to live with as many abilities as we can maintain, right? So smoking a pack a day is similar to the experience of chronic acute loneliness, right? So those people die sooner, and if they live longer, they live with more disability. Okay, so this is an issue that is contemporary. It's an issue that matters, and not just for your mental health, also for your physical health. Because we know now that your mind and your psychology is not separate from your body. It's all interconnected. And so we want to think of ourselves more holistically and less as the sum of parts. Okay. So that's the foundation for why I'm here today. So let's see if this will move now. Come on, come on, come on. Uh, Oh, here we go. It's moving, it's moving. We've we're heading in the right direction. So we want to differentiate between these ideas of loneliness and solitude because just because we're alone doesn't mean that we're lonely, right? So we don't want to correlate the two in a negative way. So we kind of need to know the difference between loneliness and solitude. So we're going to talk about that. And then we'll kind of touch upon what is causing all of this social malaise, right? Why are more and more people feeling badly, right? Why are more and more folks experiencing negative mental health outcomes, right? Why do we need more therapists out there? Why is the demand so high for mental health support, right? So we got to sort of know the trigger points. So we'll talk a little bit about, just touch upon that. And I do want to help define this idea of successful aging because it's a loaded term. What does it mean to be successful? So there may be kind of a scientific understanding of that, and also a community understanding, because I can tell you that older adults define successful aging much differently than the researchers. Okay. And so we can reframe that in some ways. I want to give you very tangible, visceral techniques for you to walk away with today. I want you to feel prepared as if you have a toolkit to pull from if you are experiencing loneliness, right? Because you might be. And so we want to ensure that your loneliness is not chronic, right? And that if you are experiencing chronic loneliness, it's it's a human condition, particularly in this day and age. So we want to help you to combat it so that you're feeling more connected and having a sense of belonging, which is, I mean, just think about this place, right? Cancer support community. I mean, the whole idea. I'm looking at all of your activities and workshops and things. The whole point is to get you connected and to build a sense of community, right? And a feeling of belonging. And then technique, technique, technique. Okay, so we want to maybe start with a little interaction. And for those of you at home, if you're with somebody at home, great. If you're not, you'll do this on your own, right? But I want you just to consider from your own perspective before we get into the definitions, how do you understand the difference between loneliness and solitude? Right. So just take a moment. If you have something to write with, that would be great. You could write it out, or you could just consider it in your mind as a thought experience. But just take a moment to consider how you differentiate between loneliness and solitude. Give you about a minute to do that. No, you can do that in your own minds. Yeah, just have a consideration there. And it doesn't have to be perfect, right? It doesn't have to be the absolute right definition. It just has to be kind of how you understand it. See, contemplation stations. So what do you think? What would you say is the difference between loneliness and solitude? Yes. Okay. So even amongst others, that there's still a feeling of invisibility. So not being seen, and to be seen in some ways is to be acknowledged, right? To be acknowledged. Yes.
Once you're retired, you are detached from the daily routine and the people you greet, and they ask you how you are, even they don't always listen. But loneliness is when this network is dissolved by retirement, or illness, or therapy, and you are dislocated from that routine. And then you focus that actually you are alone. That creates a loneliness.
And confirm that I have this correctly, but what I'm hearing you say is that part of being in a work environment or being in your career also gives you a sense of purpose and belonging. And in that purpose and belonging, that you have community.
That's the loneliness because the activities always shift with the energy of the activities. While you are detached from that routine, you found the loneliness hitting you.
And so purpose, belonging, and routine, right? A routine around interaction and belonging. So many of my clients have told me, right, that they need to, in order to not experience loneliness, they need to sense a feeling of belongingness. But how do they know that? Well, they know it because they're missed when they're not there. I'm missed when I don't show up because when I show up, I have something to offer. So it's in that offering, right? It's in the offering of a skill, a talent, a passion, your gift, right? That you get to experience being part of something and you feel like you belong. Yes. What are we?
Comment
Mm-hmm.
online. I
Mm-hmm.
understand loneliness to be or feel quote unquote imposed, something that is exacted upon you, sometimes outside of one's control due to circumstances. Um, the sol the solitude is chosen, creative, self-advocacy, self-preservation, and a form of self-care.
Okay, so we have a definition or description of solitude as being chosen, solitude as intentional, solitude as a action or activity of self-care, right? So the differentiation for this individual is intention versus experience, like without an externalized experience, it sounds like. Anybody else want to add to our description? Yes.
Uh, Solitude is, I feel strong and use it as a reflection of the joy.
Okay, so solitude as an opportunity to experience joy. Also, it sounds like intentional. And isolation, or I'm sorry, loneliness as a consequence of isolation. Okay. Yes, sir.
See solitude as a subset of loneliness.
Okay.
Part of it. You don't necessarily have to be lonely or by yourself. You have either one of those.
Okay. Sure. So you see them as interconnected in some ways. Yeah, okay. So, yeah, I mean, I think that you can have both at the same time, for sure. Yes. Ah, so the experience of loneliness can be sad. Okay. Yeah, there's some pain associated with it. Yeah. And solitude, then would be, uh,
By your own, with no participation of other people.
so, okay. So, um, solitude then is a individual intrapersonal experience where loneliness indicates the lack of uh, interpersonal relationships or meaningful interpersonal relationships. Because many of us have acquaintances, right, where we make connections with other folks, but are those connections meaningful? Do they see you, right? Do they see you? Do they know you? Yes, we have an online comment.
Can also enjoy solitude for activities like reading, creativity.
Oh yeah, so solitude as a how do I want to as a workshop. Solitude as a workshop for creativity. Because many of us do our most creative or are our most creative when we're in that workshop of solitude. Yes,
So it's a quiet zone around our well-being.
loneliness creates a quiet zone around silence, around well-being. Yeah, and I'm hearing the disconnection in that, the isolation in that. Yeah, it's that lack of, yeah, right. And last comment, yes.
My life or meaning. So like it can be, I mean, it can be anything, right? Relationships, career, um, yeah, you just like, it's a feeling like they don't have an anchor or purpose.
Yeah, I mean, and that anchor and the purpose is often related to serving others, right? Or gifting the talent, our talent on behalf of, in service to others. I mean, think about this from an evolutionary perspective. I mean, human beings, in fact, all primates, and one might even say all mammals, are biologically designed to connect to others. Biologically almost required to have connection to others. That's when we are born, we cannot survive without others. We cannot survive. And and it looks as if, I mean, what the epidemiological data is suggesting is that when we are without others in meaningful ways, that we die sooner and we have more disability. And that's the data set. So it's something to be aware of. And I think, Carl Jung, who is, one of the preeminent psychologists of the 20th century, basically said um, to be known, to be known by others is to belong, right? And so when we are experience the feeling of loneliness, we are unknown. We are unknown. And it's not our names that are unknown. It's our heart's desire. It's our wish. It's our dreams. It's our pain, right? It's our hopes. This is what is required to experience a sense of belonging, to be known, to be seen, to be valued, to be cherished. And you see the difference there, right? It's a clear difference. And it's not easy. to experience those feelings, especially if we have traumas related to our relationships, that we've experienced abandonment, that we've experienced rejection, that we've experienced displacement, that we're in pain or we're in treatment, right? It can get isolated pretty quickly before we know it. And so the idea here is just to remain aware and to know, am I experiencing chronic loneliness? That doesn't mean that aloneness is a bad thing or solitude is a bad, and bad is such a, that's not the term I want to use, is detrimental to your health. It's just, okay, part of my treatment approach, it includes exercise and diet and my treatment and going to the doctor and social connection. Where am I known? Where am I known? Where do I belong? Where do I offer value? Okay, I can feel that this is landing on receptive hearts. Curious hearts, the energy in the room just deepened. Did you feel it? Ooh. Yeah, did you feel that? You can feel that energy, right? It goes right from up here to, oh yeah, this is real. This feels real. Okay, so let's give you more of the scientific definitions, okay, the research definitions. So loneliness is the subjective distress experienced when a person perceives a discrepancy between desire and actual social relationships. Okay. So I want to be more connected and I'm not. I want to be more connected and it feels like I can't. I want to be more connected and it feels as if there's a barrier to me getting more connected. And we all understand that. If we move to a new place, if we get a new job, right? If we're in treatment and we're experiencing disability, that it can sometimes get in the way of being connected. One of my best friends right now is just diagnosed with stage 3 breast cancer. She's 47 years old. 47 years old. And it's metastasized into her lymph nodes. She has a 14-year-old, 11-year-old, and a 10-year-old. And I wasn't expecting that.
In that condition of community here, these drastic changes for the better, and they're far longer than the doctors expect.
Yeah, and she actually met somebody at a support group who had the same exact cancer and same exact treatment, and she's 2 years in remission. But my friend is really experiencing, thank you. My friend is really experiencing some difficulty because she's so exhausted, right? The chemo has been so hard on her body that it's difficult to find the support that she needs, right? And the sense of belonging and all of those things. So I'm just sharing that because um, her desire, right, is different than maybe her experience. Although we've swept in and we do a weekly Zoom tonight, actually, Wednesday nights at 8. And we're taking care of dinners 3 times a week, and we're doing all of our friends are stepping up. But the truth of the matter is it can get complicated, and that's what I want to share. And we have to have grace for ourselves as well. That's really important. It's not always perfect. The idea is progress, right? It's not perfection. It's moving progressively towards a goal and accounting for some of the hurdles, because that's life. That's what we do. It's never going to be quite perfect. Okay. So, loneliness can be an emotional experience. It's often linked to sadness, right? It's linked to depression, and anxiety, and obviously mortality risk, as I've already shared. And those mental health challenges sometimes need or require medical intervention. Yes.
So under loneliness, can depression be the primary that triggers loneliness instead of reverse?
Good question. Yeah, what comes first, the chicken or the egg? Right? Yeah, what comes first, the chicken or the... So both and, right? It's not either or. The loneliness can be the origin, the impetus for the depression, or vice versa. Because when we're depressed, you know how that goes. We lack energy, we lack motivation and desire. Everything becomes sort of like, ugh. We call it anhedonia, right? And anhedonia is the lack of interest or pleasure in things that used to be interesting and pleasurable, right? So that feeling of like kind of being a zombie, that happens as a result of depression. So yeah, loneliness can be a stem or it can be a root. We just and that's why, I'm a therapist, so I've been doing this for a long time. Of course, I want you to go see therapists, but right, keeps us in business. But I also want to put myself out of business too, because we want to help you get well. We want to help you get better. So not that you're going to be there for years and years and years. Maybe you come in and get help and experience wellness, and then you fly off and do the next thing in life. Okay. So that's loneliness. Now let's compare that to solitude. So solitude then, alternatively, is the state of being alone without feeling lonely and the capacity to find restoration, meaning, or creativity in time spent by oneself. Ooh, that feels lovely. But there is some level of intentionality around it, right? Because I'm choosing now to go off into my solitude as an opportunity to restore, as an opportunity to create, as an opportunity to reflect and make meaning. How do we do this? Right? We all do it in some ways. Um, I mean, I don't mean to be crude in any way, but I know some people who, use the bathroom for an hour at a time. Well, why? Because they have solitude there, right? They could close the door, they lock the door, nobody comes in and nobody bothers them. And that's their solitude, right? And it's a solitude they can read, they can meditate, they can do all the things that they do. That's right. They can text, they can, but the point here is though that it's intentional and it's restorative and it's energizing rather than de-energizing. Okay. So then it's chosen or welcomed, it supports reflection, regulation, identity, and spiritual growth, and it's associated with psychological well-being. It's not taxing. It's not taxing, and that's how you can differentiate. Is this experience taxing me, or is this experience energizing me?
What do you like tax?
That's taking away. Taking away. It's taking a toll from you or upon you. None of us like to pay taxes. And some of us understand, I spend a lot of money in taxes, let me tell you, and I'm happy to know when the taxes are going to something that I appreciate. I'm not so happy when they're going to things that I don't, but it's a tax, right? It's a taking away. Okay. So another way of saying this, loneliness then, it's a painful feeling. It can happen even when surrounded by people, right? Because of that, I don't belong in this place. And if I belong, then I'm known my gifts are received. My gifts are received. And then it drains your health, drains your mood. Solitude, on the other hand, is peaceful. It's a choice. It's a time for reflection and creativity and calm, and it feels nourishing and full. So now we have a framework or a model for understanding the differences between loneliness and solitude. So, one thing I want to mention here is that the world is designed for young people, right? It's designed for the crowd 50 and under, maybe even 40 and under at this point. And everything is for these folks. Ooh, go here. Um, and so ageism is everywhere and it affects how we feel about ourselves and it affects our confidence. And sometimes even it gets in the way of making connections with other people where we can feel a sense of belonging, where we can have purpose, and we can have meaning. So, what I'm telling you is this is not solely an individual issue. Like it's all on you to make this right. It's also a systemic issue or a structural issue that requires our attention. How do we make life easier and more connected and more opportunities for belonging for older adults too, not just young people, right? I think and believe that that's happening, but we also have to consider the different levels of ability that older adults have, right? And how to help them as well. Because when you can't get out of your home, it's or have difficulties getting out of your home, it's difficult then too to connect with others and feel that level of belonging. I'm thinking about my brother. My younger brother, I'm 46. My younger brother is 2.5 years younger than me. So what is that? He's 43. Okay. He has severe rheumatoid arthritis. Severe. Um, he cannot open a bottle. He can't open a door, really. He can't get into the car and put his own seatbelt on, right? Very difficult, challenging life. He can barely walk. I think he'll probably be non-ambulatory within the next 2 to 3 years. Okay. Um, it's very difficult for him to get out of his home. To get out of his home means a lot of effort, right? This is not an uncommon experience for people living with disability. And you may also know too, older adults in your life, neighbors, peers, colleagues, right? That it's extensively, or not extensive, exceptionally difficult to find community because not only are they dealing with the disability potentially, they're also dealing with maybe the stigma attached to the disability. What does it mean to have a wheelchair? What does it mean to have a walker? What does it mean to not be able to hear everything that people are saying? And do we create spaces in which we can facilitate more connection for these folks? So all I'm saying is that ageism exists, abilityism exists, and it's not just on you to make it better. It's also on all of us too in the society to consider how we're spending money to help you as well. Especially if, now think about this, really think about this. The government government and other, bodies, organizations pump millions and millions and millions of dollars into smoking cessation, right? Millions and millions of dollars. And yet, what are we spending on helping folks connect? If we know, if the data tells us, I mean, it's not like science is a myth. The data tells us very clearly that the health effects of loneliness, chronic loneliness, is similar to smoking a pack a day So we have work to do is what I'm suggesting. Okay. Did you have a point or a question?
I'd say like well, I was just gonna challenge that thought because if wouldn't it not be ageism but disableism, because anyone at any age can be disabled. Like I was in my 20s and disabled, and it was just really challenging to participate in social activities with people my age. And so yeah, it's just a challenging thought.
Yeah, no, I appreciate your perspective, honestly. And yeah, it's ableism, it's ageism, and all of the isms, right? We've got lots of them going on, right? And how do we consider them as part of the issue? My only suggestion here is um, whatever you believe or whatever you consider as, right or wrong or good or bad or whatever it happens to be, the idea here is that it's not solely the individual's responsibility to correct their chronic experience of loneliness, that it's also it's a societal charge to address how do we help people be in relationship with one another in a meaningful way. Because right now, it's in disrepair. It's in disrepair. So, how do we repair? How do we come up with strategies and ideas?
Associating library where you volunteer to help us reading or having even a conversation. You book the special conference room so you have the privacy, you don't look dumb or everybody points finger at you. There are organizations who make meetings in the park, which is a open space. You don't feel claustrophobic, you don't feel obliged to sit and listen, where interactivity is challenging that inhibition of people in wheelchair, in a scooter, in any kind of mobile education, where they are invited, they are programmed by the curriculum of the appointment to participate, to get out of their discomfort zone, to be part of the activity of everybody. So everybody faces disabilities in an open space, and everybody can enhance for their hour of life quality.
Yes, I love that sort of refresher, right? And sharing of information because anything helps. That's the whole idea. Um, I think I've covered this, so I'm going to move to the next slide here. Did you have a question? Right. Okay. 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 So there are also existential concerns that impact as we get older, right? It's not just physical disability, but it's also our mental health and our openness, right, to engage new people and new activities and to adapt to some of the challenges that we face. So, a lot of the clients that I see have a lot of guilt and have experienced guilt and shame related to regrets that they have in their life. And sometimes that guilt and shame can get in the way of making new connections and engaging new relationships because they have a sense of shame. They may beat themselves up a bit, right? And may look upon themselves in a more negative light. So some of this work also needs to happen psychotherapeutically, right, to process some of those negative emotions. Um, Part of the developmental, uh, um, how do I want to say this, task, the task of growing older from a developmental perspective, and this is Ericksonian in nature, is the idea that we are generative as we age. And what generative means, or generativity, is being able to take all of our experience over the lifetime that we've had and share the wisdom that we've gleaned from it. And this is why grandparenting seems to be such a pleasurable role for most older adults. It's because they get to take everything that they've known and everything that they've learned and gift it forward to a new generation. This is also why many older adults really speak very highly, and their subjective rating is very high for volunteer activities that give them meaning and give them purpose and give them a sense of belonging. So many of my clients that are over the age of 80 are still doing Meals on Wheels and still over at Torrance Memorial doing their, candy striping. And they're still doing all these things. Well, why? Because it gives them something to wake up for. We all have to ask ourselves that. Now, I'll tell you, I love going on vacation. I love traveling. I love seeing new things. I love just getting up whenever the heck I want to get up. And I like going to bed when I want to go to bed because usually it's about 2 in the morning. When I'm out and about, but when I'm working, I have to, have a little more routine. The point here being, when I travel, I eventually get pretty bored, right? The bored part is, well, what am I generating? Now, there's a difference here between consumption and production. And when we are solely consuming, only consuming, I think it has something to do with a shift in our self-efficacy, our self-esteem, and our feeling of belonging. Because in human communities, particularly, and this is really important for you to understand and to grasp here, particularly the communities where people are living the longest with the least amount of disability, their older adults are not shuffled off to some other spot. Their older adults are integrated into their day-to-day functioning. They have a purpose to serve, right? So in America, for whatever reason, I think it's mostly economical, right? It's mostly economical because of the amount of wealth in this country. It has allowed families to disperse, right? People can go wherever they want to go. They don't have to stay together. Staying together requires an economic necessity for most people around the world, but not here. Here, everybody goes where they want because they can afford to do that. You don't have to have 3 generations of family living in the same home, right? Also, too, because we're a consumption society, we consume, consume, consume. What does that mean? Well, my God, think of all the single family homes everywhere around this country. Everybody wants their home and their plot of land. Well, most places around the world, you don't have that, right? You don't have that. Why? Because there's not enough land for that. See what I'm saying? So I think it's primarily economically, but who knows? It could be other reasons as well. But the point here being purpose, being integrated into society is a critical piece of all of this. That's generativity. So in thinking about your life, where are you generative? Where are you gifting your knowledge and wisdom and what you're good at to other people? And that does shift, by the way, as you get older. Maybe it's not necessarily your career technical knowledge. Maybe it's that you're a really gifted singer and you're teaching people how to sing. Maybe it's that you're teaching non-English speakers how to speak English. Maybe you're offering a home economics class on how to spit spot clean your kitchen. I don't know, right? But it's something that you're passionate about. If I wasn't doing, this, I'd probably be teaching people how to meditate. That's what I love to do. Or I'd be teaching folks how to write with logic. With logic, not with AI. Yes, how to have a line of logic in your writing. Or how to speak, professionally or to the public. So, it doesn't have to be technical. It can be your love, your love. For instance, my stepmother, I for whatever reason, dementia haunts me. Both of my grandmothers and now my stepmom, who's 65, has been diagnosed with Alzheimer's, early stage. And but she's still putting together, right? She can't put a recipe together. She can't follow a recipe because she forgets as she's doing it, so it's too complicated. But she can put together 500-piece puzzles. Now, there's no way anywhere in the universe that I could put together a 500-piece puzzle without killing myself. No, that's too strong of a word. I don't mean to be flip about that. But without just giving up completely. Okay? Because it's so complicated. It's so complex. So I would love for her to teach me how to do it. How do you actually do this 500-piece puzzle? But here, social support really is when we think about all of the interventions that you can choose from to protect your health, social connection is way up there, right? So as you're thinking about your diet and exercise, I also want you to think about your social connection. In what ways am I connecting with others in a meaningful way? All right. So we're not going to talk about successful aging too much, but this is the Rowan Kahn study that I shared about earlier. And successful aging was defined as a low probability of disease and disease-related disability, high cognitive and physical functional capacity, active engagement with life. And really, the point is that all of this is somewhat subjective. Okay, active engagement in life. Well, some of us, how are you engaging and is it meaningful? Because we can do a lot of dancing on the dance floor, but if we're dancing by ourselves, now think about this. We can do a lot of dancing on the dance floor, but if we're dancing by ourselves and not connecting to other people on the dance floor, is that connection? It's not, I don't, well, it could be. It could be solitude. Yeah, it could be solitude. But I'm thinking about you're going to the dance club every week. Is the hope to connect with others, or is the hope to just have practice your rhythm? Could be both. Yeah, it could be both. But I'm sharing the example because that it could be experienced as a very lonely experience, right? Because you're wanting to connect. You're wanting to find a dance partner or partners. Not necessarily. I agree. The fair. Yeah, fair.
You get all up on you. Honestly, like to me, music is life. I want to feel the music go through my body. I don't want anyone touching me. And I like to dance with like my girlfriends. Like just I don't no, don't touch me.
I think that's a fair evaluation.
Don't
Yeah, I think it's a fair evaluation. And you're right. It depends on the dance, it depends on the context, it depends on the intention, right? Hmm. Sure. Uh-huh.
Lonely, actually, not many relationships will go out into the community, like shopping, browsing windows, whatever, just to feel the sense of some kind of community.
Hmm.
Because they don't have much, social support or relationships. I
Yeah.
find that interesting. I was like, oh.
Yeah, I think so. There are strategies to um, to energize oneself when the individual is experiencing aloneness, right? But loneliness is different. Loneliness is the desire, right, to that belonging part, to be known. So, for instance, there are some times when I've been by myself for too long. Okay. Give you an example. If I'm working from home, let's say 2 days in a row, okay, and maybe I'm doing lots of interaction on Zoom, teaching on Zoom, workshops on Zoom, meetings on Zoom. I'm seeing plenty of people on Zoom, but I haven't really connected with anybody in life except my dog. Well, that's not enough. So, yeah, I'll call a friend or go to dinner with a friend. But if I don't have a friend available to do that, I'm gonna go to the bar. Now, I'm not saying to drink necessarily, although I might have a drink. It's more to connect, to feel, not connect, I don't want to use that word. It's more to experience the sense of energy that comes with people being together, like a cheers bar. And I can sit at the end of the bar. That's right. I can sit at the end of the bar and maybe I'll talk to my neighbor. I'll definitely talk to the bartender. But really, what I'm experiencing is the energy of people together. That's different, though, than a feeling of belonging. You had a point. Oh, sure. Yes. Sorry. I'll do that for you. We want you to feel a sense of belonging too. Sure, sure. Yes. Do you want me to do that now? If moving forward, moving forward. Okay. Yes, ma'am.
Senior centers, which listen to the consumer and decided to put a Saturday dancing.
Ah, yes.
It's non-partner required. So
Oh,
you
lovely.
go by yourself, or you find a partner, or you dance with whomever is available on the floor, and then you go home. It's not a dating game.
Mhm.
To contradict what we try to establish. The other one, listen to the different group of people who are more physically unable to shake it, and we have a Hawaiian hula contest. And they found out that many people would like that kind of entertainment where they are not winning a prize. They can go on the floor and just wiggle it. Very attentive, because now in the last 6 months, since we had a hula in May, in the last 6 months, she has every month on the calendar a social dancing hour.
Oh,
You
it's
show
lovely.
up or you don't. You don't need to book, you don't need to reserve. You just show up. They tried karaoke. They found out that several members are playing an instrument, ukulele. Oh, please come in. You are the entertainment of the day. So it's, if you don't communicate what will be more soothing, more attractive at no cost. Once you have the annual membership, it's covered, right? Some senior centers even go to annual membership. But the point is, there is where you go because there is a floor to dance. In your room, you are too crowded. In your friend's environment, everybody has a partner. So there you go, unconditioned.
Mm.
You just go to shake it, to get a different disposition, and people are available to socialize with you.
Thank you. Open on the mic as well.
Okay, good. We have what? 4 minutes. Oh my gosh. Okay, folks, we're not getting through this in 4 minutes. So hey, I'm gonna have to speed through. We're just talking. We're not gonna speed through. We'll come back. It'll be fine. Everybody smile. It's gonna be great. Um, so I'm gonna just move through to some of the more important information in terms of interventions because I think we've set this up pretty well. Um, so positive psychology is a movement in the field of psychology that's really focused on rather than studying what's wrong with folks. So we generally study pathology. We actually want to study people that are being successful, the happiest people, right? The people who are feeling the most connected, the folks that are feeling the most meaning in their lives rather than the folks that aren't experiencing those things, because maybe we can glean information from those individuals. Okay, so that's what the field of positive psychology is all about. And Martin Seligman is sort of the godfather of the positive psychology movement. So if you want to look him up, I think that's really great. But he's come up with this strategy called PERMA. It's positive emotions, engagement, relationships, meaning, and achievement, right? And so these are the strategies or the interventions that appear to be most abundant for folks that are living the most positively, okay, in all ways. So gratitude obviously is one of those strategies. I cannot overemphasize this enough. Okay, gratitude, because what happens when you practice gratitude is it gives you perspective. There's always something to be grateful for if you look for it. And so here, really, every day should be a practice gratitude day. Find 5 things you're grateful for. 5, not just things, but people, experiences, encounters, phenomenon. What are you grateful for? And pardon? To be here. Oh, I love it. Yes, I'm grateful too. I'm grateful to be here. I'm grateful to have legs to stand on. I'm grateful to have clean air to breathe. I'm grateful to be earning a living. I'm grateful to have a car that takes me from here to there. I'm grateful for the relationships that I have, the moments that I get to share information that might change somebody's life. I'm grateful. I also have a lot to be sad about, right? But that doesn't, so being grateful doesn't make that go away. It just offers a perspective about life. So in no ways am I suggesting that you just wave a magic gratitude wand and then all your pain will go away. That's not the point. The point is to develop an intentional practice. Excuse me. I'll send these slides to uh, Rachel, and then they can be disseminated so that you can read more of this. But count your blessings, count them, articulate them, label them, number them every day. Set 10 minutes aside to consider what you're grateful for. But it does release, oxytocin, right? When I think about all of the blessings in my life, even though I have challenges, I'm grateful to my God for everything that I have been allowed to experience. And I can tell you um, from a personal perspective that it has helped me manage different bouts of depression over my lifetime, including a very recent one. Okay, another opportunity or option is to write letters. Writing letters to folks that you haven't been in contact with or you want to have more contact with, right? So you can use whatever format and write thinking not so much about the regret or any shame or any conflict, but what you're grateful for, what you want to do more of, compliments and rehearsals, remembrances of what was most pleasurable and what was most happy. So that's another option. We're going to skip over this one. We've talked about solitude, so I got to skip through some of this. I'm going to come back. I'm going to come back. I'm going to come back. Okay. I want to just talk about more loneliness. Maybe we can talk about solitude more next time. So, interventions. Strengthen your micro connections. Okay. Set an intention on talking to people more, greeting neighbors, right? Talking to your local barista, smiling at someone at the store, where you go, where you make these connections and have these interactions. Set an intention for yourself. Even today, maybe there's somebody here that you haven't talked to that you want to talk to. Maybe there's somebody that you sometimes talk to that you want to talk to more. Make it an intention. The intentionality is really important, folks, because oftentimes we just expect things to happen or hope for things to happen. Well, we actually do have agency. We can set a plan for ourselves if that's what we want. Increase meaningful interactions. That would be doing something like this: volunteering, teaching, and mentoring. Very, very crucial, I think, for all of those of you who have a song to sing. Sing that song. Find a way to sing that song. It's going to help you feel more connected and less isolated. Contributing to community projects for those of you who are political in nature or have ideas on how to make the community better. There are plenty of opportunities to have your voices heard. And we need your voice right now. We need to hear your ideas. We need to hear your expertise. This is what generativity is all about. So even if it's once a month going to the city council meeting and just listening, and also saying hello to people, introducing yourselves, feeling like there's a point to your evening. Purpose equates belonging. Belonging equates reduced loneliness. You can focus on one or two relationships, right? So, hey, could be a family member or a friend, reconnecting with someone important. I just recently reconnected with a mentor of mine who we've had some estrangement over the years. My, one of my, as I shared, my close friend has been diagnosed with breast cancer. It's bringing a lot of friends back together, right? That who haven't, but all for a common purpose, which is to help our friend survive, right? To help our friend survive. And then there's this idea of social fitness. And like exercise, it is a weekly or daily activity. Not just, oh, I went to a workshop and now I'm going to sprinkle some of these, this fairy dust in my life. No, it's actually setting up in your week like you do your yoga or your weightlifting or your cardio, right? So you can set weekly goals for connection, and this could be one of them, by the way. Track your interactions like you would track your steps. How many interactions did I have? How many do I want to have today? I want to have 5 interactions today, and I'm going to track it. And when you track something, you also can look for obstacles. What's getting in the way of me getting those 5 interactions? Then, once you know what your obstacle is, you can address the obstacle too. That's when you come to talk to somebody like me, right? And then build rituals, Sunday calls, Wednesday walks. Hey, we're doing this Wednesday Zoom every week with my friend Christy, right? There are like 10 of us on there. And we laugh and we cry and we tell stories, and we're generally on there for an hour, right? Just reminiscing. So all of this to say, intentionality matters. Now, last thing I'm going to say for today, okay, is that some of this can't be done by yourself. And I don't want any one of you to walk out of here feeling like it's your fault, that you're not doing enough. I don't want you to walk out of here feeling guilt or shame or any negative thing about yourself. What I want you to walk out feeling is, I have more understanding of what I need to do next. That's it. More understanding of what I need to do next. And it could be something here. It could be talking to me. It could be talking to somebody out there. It could be talking to a friend or a pastor or somebody you trust. But I don't want you to walk out of here feeling like it's your fault that you're feeling lonely. And if you need support, and you might, because what comes first, the chicken or the egg? If you need support, call me. Send me an email. We'll get you support. We'll find a way to get you to where you want to go. Sure. Well, here you can take a picture right here. There's my connect. Take a picture there, and you can call me. You can email me. You can send a pigeon or a dove, a hawk. Okay, so my question for you then is number one question. Did you learn something today? Number two question, can you use what you learned? Yes, okay. Number three question, do you want me to come back to talk more about these issues? Okay. Wow, that was enthusiastic. Okay, just if you could quickly, very quickly, one thing at a time. Just say out loud if there's one thing that you're gonna do. You don't have to commit to it, but you're considering doing in the next week or 2 weeks or 3 weeks, what would it be? Related to this. Hello, Moto. Speak to your neighbors. Call your friend in Sweden. Gratitude. Writing a letter. Anybody else want to share? Try to. Okay.
Fine. And unmute yourself.
Sophia. That's great. Hold on. Sophia wants to say something. We can continue. Okay. So, yes.
Same loneliness.
No. Yeah, bored. Mm.
Reason you people kind of throw that word around all the time. I never consider myself bored, but maybe sometimes I do consider myself lonely, and I was just wondering if you would consider them the same.
No, I mean, I think they can be, I wouldn't say that they're mutually exclusive. They can work in tandem. If you can be you can be completely engaged and still experience loneliness. You can be lonely and bored too. Yeah. But boredom, I think, if you're experiencing boredom, you may consider, are you a boring person?
Like, how is anybody ever things to keep yourself in the hood?
I think so. It's a state of mind. Now, and I don't say that, hey, I don't say that in any kind of pejorative way. I really don't, because, hey, there have been times that I've been bored. But just like my niece and nephew, they'll say, oh, Uncle Dave, I'm bored, I'm bored. Well, figure out something to do then. Look at the whole world. That's it.
Call my mom, write letter and cards.
Oh, love it, love it. Call mom, write your letters, do your cards. Hey, the whole point is be nice to yourselves. Be gentle. Have grace.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Dr. Hart.
You're welcome. Thank you for